At scale. Good morning.
Good morning.
Look, I've had 4 days to prepare. I'm gonna need a little bit more heat. I've lost sleep. So good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. Okay. Cool. First of all, thank you all for being here. Everybody waking up in the morning. That's just incredible. That's super. I'm going to be super vulnerable today and give you my heart and keep it 100 with you. And I hope you can already feel my energy now, right? I just want to give you all of me. So thank you for deciding to come and let me give you me. So that's number one. Number two, Nate, thank you very much for this opportunity. Couple things. One is I'm an organizer at 1 Million Cups. 1 Million Cups, we meet on Wednesdays. Shout out to Steve Bickle, who's in here. A couple people might have pitched there, but we have a startup come in every Wednesday morning. They come and they pitch, and it's a whole community thing. It's all volunteer, organized, community led. We get like 15 people there, 30 people there. So when Nate sends me this text and he's like, "Hey man, I need help. Think you'd be great." And then I'm thinking, there's going to be 30 people there. So I'm thinking like, man, I know what it is when we get a startup that cancels last minute. And so I want to be a brother to him. I want to help him out. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be there. And then the invite goes out, and 40 of you emailed me like, "Hey, H, I'm going to see you on Friday. I'm going to see you on Friday." And I realized like, this is a big deal, right? And so... and maybe and Nate and I were talking, that's probably better that way, because I think if I would have known that it'd be so many of you, I probably would have said no. And so thank you, Nate. Couple things, and this is the other thing I didn't tell you, Nate, but I'm actually getting married today. So I have... Straight up. You felt that. That's right. Right there. That's 3 p.m. We go to the courthouse. Mom was flying in. That's why I'm saying, like, I would have said no, right? I would have said no, nearly 8 years ago, on a flight from Munich to London, I met the most beautiful person in the world. And... Roisin has always been there to wound my scars when I failed and to keep me humble when I succeed. And I just can't. I'm super happy to be with you, babe. So, but why would a guy who's going to get married come and talk to you guys every morning? Right? So we'll get to that. Second thing is Mom's in the building. Everybody give a little love to Mom. I mean, this is the most amazing, beautiful woman in the world. I knew this was gonna hurt. She filled us with dreams. She made us believe in possibilities. When we had nothing, we always had something, and it's because of my mom. So shout out to her. All right. Now let's get to work. So why does a guy decide to come and take this on, right, and talk to you all this morning? It's because I fundamentally believe that artists and creatives and you guys are the key to our future. And I will get into it, but you guys are Jedis. You guys have the light. You guys have the force. And in this day and age, in a world of darkness, like, I can't explain to you how much we need you right now. And I'll get to a little bit more on that in a little bit, but I think I want to back up a little bit and just talk about who I am. And I think for you all to understand me, you need to understand my journey, and I'll try to be as quick as possible. My name is H. Puentes. H is not my real name, but my mother calls me H, so it's not like I made it up somewhere in college as a cool guy, right? So the story goes, my mother named us all names that rhyme. We're 4 boys. It's Khalid, Harid, Saeed, and Jarid. Mom would come to the base of the staircase and she would yell, "Harid," and all we would hear would be the Eid. So all 4 boys came out, right? Then quickly we realized, like, wait a minute, it's only 25% chance it's me, so I'm not coming out, right? Well, Mom got hip to that and was like, whoa, like, KHSY. H, and you knew you were H. K, get down here, you knew you were K. And so my name's been H since I was about 6 years old. There's the story. The myth has been debunked, and now you all know. So I started off life, we were extremely, I would say, wealthy. I would say we had everything that I needed. Whatever I needed, I mean, we each had not PlayStations, Mario Kart. We had whatever we wanted. I never needed for anything. If I wanted the new polo boots, we'd go to Fame City, which is like the equivalent of a Dave & Buster. We'd go like every weekend. Red Lobster was mandatory on Sundays, and I just had everything. And so, I don't want to go too deep into it, but early on in my life, call it around 12, 13 years old, we fell into some real hard times. And I'm talking about some real hard times, right? And so here you have a kid that had everything when they were younger, and excess. And at 12 years old, in the time when you're supposed to be going out and hanging out with your friends and sort of becoming social, and going out and to the skating ring or to the rollerblade or bowling alley or to the movies, hanging out with girls, taking them out, I couldn't afford that. We couldn't afford it. It just wasn't possible. And I sort of resented that a little bit, right? I mean, you're a little kid, and it's one thing if you grow up never knowing, but it's another thing if you were just balling a couple years ago and now you're not, right? And so what happened was this created in me somebody that was determined, right? This created an individual that was so focused on two things, power and money, right? And I was focused on power and money because the only people I saw that could go and afford stuff were people who had power, right? The people that I saw, my friends, their parents, they had money. They could go to the grocery store. And I always, in my soul, I said, man, you know what? No matter what happens, I don't care what happens. I'm going to work hard, and I'm going to get that power, and I'm going to get that money because I never want my kids, I never want my parents, I never want anyone to suffer or to feel the way that I have felt in that life. And this wasn't necessarily a good thing, but it's just so you guys understand my perspective. So what does that mean? That means at 17, I became an intern for a congressman. Right, I was just searching for power, man. I then went off to college. My mom, we laugh about it all the time. All I had was a can opener and a towel. Straight up. I had no bed sheets, no nothing. Talk to mom. She'll verify this. A can opener, towel, and a pocket full of dreams. Right? And so when I go to college, what do? I join the fraternity. I become president. Here I am. I'm now the boss, and I'm sort of controlling things. I'm like right on the way. 80% of Congress is Greek. I'm gonna go run this thing. Great. I go, and now I'm picked to the Leadership Academy. Charles Walgreens, alumni, and he comes in, and not he comes in, but they sponsor a big Leadership Academy, and I want to be the best there. And then Steve Forbes and Bob Barr, they see me, and then I become like, they're my mentors. Because they're like, man, this guy's got it. He's got this, man, what's going on? Then I go, and I said, that's not enough, and I joined the Freemasons. Because all I'm doing is I'm just remember, this kid is just on a fight. Like, I don't want to live like how I remember seeing my mom have to struggle, right? And get food. And like, I can tell you, you go to church and you get a food from church, they bring you all the beans. You didn't even exist. You didn't even know all that many cans of beans existed, right? And my whole life was about that. And so I kept going and going and going. And then I was in Freemasonry, and I crushed it. At 22 years old, and for a lot of people that don't know Freemasonry, like, I started the first academic lodge in the 200-plus year history of Virginia Freemasonry. I pitched to the deputy director of the CIA, who was the Grand Master, wizard, whatever you want to call it, but he's the boss, okay? This guy's the boss, okay? And I pitched to him, I'm like, look, hey, we're struggling for membership. I hear this in the meetings. Why aren't we at the universities? At the universities, there's men that are there trying to better themselves. They're trying to be great. They're trying to be successful. Like, why aren't we there? We did a little research. We found out that there's a academic lodge at Oxford, Apollo. Oscar Wilde was a member. There's an academic lodge at Harvard, at MIT. Well, why can't we have one at George Mason? Next thing I know, after pitching them that, we've got a leadership team with the deputy director of the CIA. We got federal judges. We got generals and colonels all behind this thing. 4 years later, we got the first academic lodge in Virginia history. So I say all this so you understand like how like gluttonous I was to never suffer. And then it didn't stop there. Then I went to London, and I went to grad school out in London, and that's where my whole world went upside down. And that's where I went because of three sort of specific reasons, and I'll kind of run through them quick. One is my brother. My older brother, Kay, man, he's older brother in age, but not really in like anything else. He's the artist. He was the philosopher. Him and I, we would fight so much growing up because I just never understood that. And when I thought about him, I just was like, added him to the list of people I'm gonna take care of, right? I never thought that he actually had anything to give. I'm telling you, I'm talking to you in front of, I don't know how many creatives right now. I had no respect for you all. I thought that what you all did was bullshit. Because in the rooms that I was in, that's what it was, bullshit. You guys weren't about getting paid. You guys weren't about getting elected. You guys weren't about getting the votes. And when in the rooms that I was in, that's all that mattered. And so when I was out in LA and I was helping my brother, he was doing an art show. And I was doodling, and I got my moleskin there. Nate said I couldn't bring it up. I love my moleskin. and I noodle, and I doodle in it. And my brother says, like, he looks at it, he's like, what are you doing, bro? And he's like, I'm like, nah, man, just doodling. I've always gotten in trouble for doodling when I was little. And he sits me down, and he's like, bro, that's art. He hands me a canvas, and he says, I want you to do what you're doing on that moleskin and put it on this canvas. And that immediately started something that for the next couple years, I became to start to realize the beauty of art and the beauty of what my brother was about, and philosophy and thinking and really caring about like the world. Second thing that influenced me was my roommate. This is gonna be crazy. I grew up in Texas, super conservative. I get into London. I don't know anything about London, but I end up getting an apartment in Soho. Any of you guys know Soho, London? Soho, London is like sort of the gay squad of London, okay? So I get in, I got a really cool apartment. I'm getting up there, and I'm walking up the stairs. I haven't met my roommate, and now comes my roommate now, Tom. Out he comes, and I'm still looking up at him, and he's like, and he's wearing Daisy Dukes. Straight up. And for a guy that grew up in Texas, that all he cared about was just being powerful, this is like, man, you're hitting me straight in my whole like foundation of what I think is like real in life and acceptable, right? And so here I am having to face that. I mean, look at me, I'm a brute, right? I mean, it's difficult, but I was forced in life, and funny how life is, I was forced to really engage with that. So you got my brother messing with my head. You got my roommate with Daisy Dukes and boys coming in and parties. And the funny part is, at the end of the time that we lived together, we were inseparable. We'd go on dates. He didn't cook. I cooked. I would cook. He'd bring the wine. We'd sit up. We'd talk about Roisin and my relationship. We'd talk about his relationships. It took a while for me to. But we'd talk about his relationship. And I ended up understanding. And he was at that time the creative director of Elle magazine. And at that time, I'd see the work. I'd see him come in at midnight. I'd see him like when it came time to do a photo shoot and to fly out to LA or do something. I saw the amount of preparation he took. I saw the amount of like love he put into his craft. And I really saw something that I could really attach to. And we ended up becoming super friends. So put yourself. So then I start to really have to think, who am I? Third thing, and then we'll get into the topic of equality. The third thing is my professor. So at grad school, everybody in my school is pretty laced up, okay? It's like 80 world leaders come from that school, and it's pretty intense. But we're at like a little reception, and in comes one of these professors, and he's got a big old beard. He's got like long, scraggly hair, and I was like, dude, I want to be in that guy's class. And so it turned out he was the only philosopher in the department, and he had a philosophy class called Europe Beyond Modernity. And here we get into the talk of equality. When I think of equality, I think I'd rather just get like a little bit deeper, okay? Because equality can mean a lot of different things. We could be talking about women, gender equality, and I'm not gonna get into that. I wanna talk about sort of good versus evil, dark versus light, right? Aesthetic versus the political, okay? And so in that class, he had a lesson where he talked about your level of measurement. And I propose to you all today that the battle that we see in this world is a battle of the level of measurement. The battle of equality is that our level of measurement is off. What do I mean by that? There's a big palm tree out there, okay? The political or the economic person level of measurement, I'm gonna look at that and I'm gonna say, dang, that palm tree, I can get 672 pencils out of that thing. I can get 44 sheets of paper out of that thing. I can build a house with it. I can put it in a canoe, okay? The artist, the creative, the aesthetic is going to look at that palm tree and say, God, what a brilliant, magnificent tree. Look how strong it stands. Look at the beauty that it has. Look at how it sways in the sky, right? And so when you look at those two different ways of measurement, right, something triggered in my mind to say, whoa, I've never thought about a tree like that, right? And the reality was, as I started to look, because now I'm like an official political scientist, like I'm in these rooms where everybody in that room is looking at that palm tree like drooling ready to chop it down for some paper. And then I started to really realize that a lot of this world the majority of this world is run through that level of measurement. How many of you all seen people that believe that because they've got 1,000 Facebook friends, that makes them amazing? Right? Some of you all may believe that because you've got a good Instagram account. I got 22,000 followers. That's great. But that's one level of measurement. What type of person are you? What type of character do you have? Right? And once again, I think this is the battle of equality. Right? So now fast forward to you all. I've dedicated my life to fix this problem with this balance. I've dedicated my life to get the Goldman Sachs people to understand that, dude, that's a palm tree and it's beautiful for X, Y, and Z. And then on the other side, I've dedicated my life to you all to say, hey, your way of viewing things is amazing and beautiful, and we need more of it in this world, right? And that's, to me, the core of the battle for equality. That battle is the battle that's happening right now in front of you, right? And if I was talking to 300 Goldman Sachs bankers, I'd hand them all one canvas of paper. I'd hand out canvases and art, and I'd say, stop playing the politics and start painting. Start thinking about yourself inside. And when I think of you guys, what do you think I want you guys to do? I want you guys to get activated. I want you guys to go run for office. I want you guys to start groups. I want you guys to become CEOs. I want you guys to be my boss, right? Because until that happens, we will continue to have this imbalance. And that's why, going back, why is this such an amazing opportunity that I would cherish and dream of the day I get to talk to several hundred artists? Because now this is impact at scale. Like, I can get you guys to operate and think in this way. Like, you guys hold the key. If you don't believe me, look at the world. Look at our economics. Look at the equity gap. Since 1982, $90 trillion of wealth has been created. 80 trillion of that has gone to the top 1%. I mean, just sit on that. These are people that are just cutting trees down. Sit on that. It is 2017, and we have the most diverse Congress in history. 19% women. And we're cool with that? That's a fundamental problem. And that inequality happens because the level of measurements are off in our community. The level of measurements that we value are off and they're skewed. And I would propose to you all that you have the most important role to play in adjusting that. You guys here, you come in here every month. Look how many people are in here. What are we doing? Nate, let's make Nate mayor. Straight up. Hey, because until we live in a world where you all as creatives and as artists understand that it is not the system that's the problem. The system was created because we need a system when you have multiple people. We need laws, you need police, you need rules. So don't rage against the system, rage against the people that are in the system. And trust me, I'm in these rooms, I've seen these people. They don't care. They're just all about chopping trees down, making pencils, taking it out so they can put another skyscraper. And until we have the people that control the system that think the way creatives do, that think the way you do, human-centered design comes from you all. Human-centered design starts with what? The person, empathy. These are all things that are needed if we're going to change that balance. Now, I got some good news and bad news. Bad news is you're like, yeah, H, man, I'm feeling it. Boom. Oh, yeah, what do I do? The bad news is I can't even tell you what to do because that's not right. Because only you know what you can do. Only you know what influence you have. Some of you, like Nate, might be running for mayor. Some of you might be just working hard, raising a child to believe that art matters and that you don't look at things in terms of like how I can utilize it as a standing reserve. For some of you, it's like, hey, I want to become the school board. For some of you, it's getting your mom into the London School of Economics, right? There's many different ways that you can eat this Reese's. But what I'm telling you is eat it. Right? The good news is, though, I can tell you what I'm working on. I can tell you what I'm doing, and maybe you'll get some nuggets in there that say, hey, I can do it too. So I am the director of the Connect All Initiative. Connect All Initiative is focused on bridging the gap between underrepresented, traditionally underserved communities and tech and life science startups. Right? You can look at the innovation economy as a rocket ship that's taken off. There's more jobs being created, more capital being created in that rocket ship, and you know what? It's just filled with old white guys. And that's a fundamental problem because you have issues like the wealth gap, you have issues like the political gap, where our sort of centers of power are not reflective of the people, right? And so what we do is we take a 3 cogs to the wheel approach. First is education and awareness. We are out in these communities, and we are building education and awareness about the importance of innovation. And so on August 19th, I invite all of you to come out. We'll be at the Jacobs Center from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. We have recruited 40 of the sickest startups. We're going to have drones flying. We're going to have virtual reality headsets. We've got 10 amazing resource organizations. Startup Week's going to be there. Geek Girl's going to be there. We got the SBA coming. We got Acción coming. But instead of doing it in La Jolla, where are we doing it? We're doing it in Southeast San Diego. Right? And we're going out there, and Alvin right there, he's been working with me really hard. We've done church tours. We've gone to 36 churches, knocking on the door, telling the pastor, hey, we're here, we're coming, we want your constituencies there. We're printing flyers in Spanish. We're recruiting Spanish speakers. Whatever we got to do, we're out in the trench, right? Because these communities and these people need to know that they can access this rocket ship, that this is an opportunity for them. Second thing we're doing, the second cog to the wheel is outreach and recruitment. If you are a woman entrepreneur, if you are a Black, Latino, veteran, disabled, Island Pacificer, whatever it is, come on with it. Come to me. We want to recruit you. We want to identify you. We want to know that you exist. You are not alone. The innovation economy wants you to get involved. We host a happy hour every first Tuesday of the month at DT. We have office hours where you can get free pro bono services, legal and product development stuff. I mean, we are hosting small talks August next Tuesday. We got a Women in Innovation to draw out women entrepreneurs. So we've got an incredible panel of 4 women. We got a woman moderator, and they're going to come out. And we want all you guys to come, right? Because I want to know who you are, and I want to get you help. Because I'm telling you, you got an uphill battle. The statistics aren't for you. And so whatever I can do to provide those resources to help you, that's what we're going to do at Connect All. And the third part of it is then we're going to do programming and mentoring. We're going to get you into the program. Right now, we run our Connect All incubator. We got a couple companies that incubate there for free because they need it. We're providing free space. And not everybody's going to be perfect for Connect, and that's okay. But we've been around 32 years. We got the plugs. So just show up on our shores. And if you're a mom and pop shop, that's okay. That's not for Connect. But I got great relationship with Marquise at the SBDC. And he'll give you free consulting, and he'll help you out. We got great plugs that'll help you out. And so the purpose of that third cog is we want to provide you and create a village of resources so that you can be successful, right? And then the idea is that once you become super successful and you become great, then what happens? Then we're going to take you out into the community, and we're going to share your story. We're going to bring you into Southeast San Diego. We're going to bring you into Paradise Hills. We're going to bring you into Logan Heights. We've already recruited minority founders. Abel at Favio's already signed up to do it. And he's going to go, and we're going to get a little town hall, and we're going to share his story. And we're not going to share his story in terms of what he does. We're going to share his story in terms of how did he get there. What Underground Railroad did he get? What resources did he utilize to be able to get where he's at, where he's chopping the type of wood he's chopping these days, right? And so then the circle continues. Then we inspire more people. We create more education and awareness. Then we start to recruit those individuals, and then we get them into the resources they need. They become big and strong, and then they go back, right? And this I would never have been able to do if I didn't have the aesthetic view, if I didn't care about art, right? Second thing we're doing is anybody that needs help getting into any school, anybody that needs help getting into any organization, any room of power, I want to talk to you. I want to help you. I've helped half of my family is now graduated from my graduate school. I helped my mom get in, helped my little brother get in. I just found out last week, one of the guys in Alaska I've been working with, a young black man, is now going to Oxford. He starts September 16th. Right? I'm leveraging all the juice that I've built of all these years I'm using it. And I'm getting all of you in those smoky rooms. I'm getting all of you in that room. Because this world, I'm not going to stop. This world won't be great. This world won't be equal until you are. Other thing I'm doing is today, we're launching a podcast called Tech Minority Report. Man, go subscribe, get on it. And all we're going to do is we want to highlight diversity, inclusion, and innovation. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. The sound quality sucks. I don't care. I don't care. Because this message needs to come out. Because I'm activated. Because I'm taking that jump. It doesn't matter. I'm doing it. Right? And so those are the kind of things I'm doing. I don't know if that helps you think of things that maybe you can do, but I can't. Unfortunately, I can't tell you what to do. That would be out of place. But what I can do is, the last thing is I want to leave you guys with some nuggets. Right? Because I think you guys need to have a little bit of like your basic toolkit. And I'm talking, this is Fisher-Price toolkit I'm giving you, okay? Because at the end of the day, like, there's a lot of levels and depths to this, right? And so I just want to give you some basic gems. Gem number 1, the world is self-interested. No one cares about you. Nobody does, okay? And I know that sounds tough. My mom, when she calls me on the phone, it's because she wants to feel that I'm okay. There's nothing wrong with that. So the second she calls, I'm immediately saying, okay, mom's interested in talking to me for what? Is she having a bad day? I'm trying to read between the lines. I'm trying to understand where's her point of departure. It's always self-interested. It's not a bad thing, right? But the more I can understand that, then the more I can get to where she wants to be. And this will prove to be very helpful for you when you try to go battle those people that think that a palm tree should be 777 pencils, right? When you're talking to people, understand what their self-interest is. What's my self-interest? Check me. My self-interest, I don't want to live in a world, I don't want to raise a kid with my beautiful wife to be in a world where everyone looks at trees like they're sheets of paper, right? I want to feel alive in this world. I get one shot. We all get one shot at this thing. Why aren't we raging? Why are we going out there, being Jedi, battling, using the lightsaber, right? That's my self-interest. I'm looking for recruits. Straight up. I'm telling you. I'm looking for soldiers. I'm looking for people that believe, that want to think and live in something greater than themselves. And that's all selfish. And that's cool. And I just encourage you all to understand that life is self-interested, especially when you get in the rooms with people that look at trees the way they do. Understand that. And the second you can get that, immediately think, then you understand what they're playing. Then you can defend your heart. You can defend your love. You can defend your beauty. You can defend yourself. Nugget 1. Nugget 2, build consensus. Everything's about the vote. I don't care if you're a family of 5 trying to figure out where you're going to go for the holiday. It's all about the vote. So here's what I want you guys to do. And this is like Fisher-Price, like really like watered down here. I want you guys, whenever you got to get something, you got to move something. You want to become school board. You want to become president. You want to go to Tahiti instead of the Grand Canyon. What I want you to do is I want you to take a sheet of paper. Like I do it all the time, even at home. It's funny. It sounds silly, but it's key. Take a sheet of paper, fold it in three columns. In the first column, I want you to put in there like all the family members that are riding with you. It doesn't even matter. It could be like that brother, that man, he rides with you wherever you need to go. That sister that goes with you wherever you're going to go. That person, that a no-brainer. You got the vote. 100%. There's nothing to even worry about. That's your base. Like they would run over a bridge. You tell them we're going to all go off a bridge. You're like, boom, that person goes on that column. In the middle column, I want you to put those people that are, those people that are like, man, H is cool. But sometimes he's not cool. Like, H is cool when I want to get philosophical, but when I want to party, he's not that cool, right? The people that you are unsure of, right? Maybe they like you, maybe they don't. I want you to put them in the middle, okay? And then on that far right column, I want you to put everybody that hates you. Everybody they wouldn't vote for you if you tried. Some of you in here, you wouldn't vote for me, right? And that's okay. And I want you to put those people on that column and forget about them. And what I want you to do is I want you to go to those people in that first column, and I want you to talk to them about what you believe and what you dream that should happen. I want you to go, Mom, hey, Mom, Roisin, there's a lot of sunshine in Fiji. You guys love sun. Man, this is great. It's going to be awesome. We go to Fiji. I know Dad's talking about the Grand Canyon, but the Grand Canyon's hot. We can't really lay out. We can't suntan, Mom. Fiji's the spot. And then what you want to happen is that then Mom goes and talks to that middle group. And Mom gets that middle group, hey, I know H is not that cool when it's party time, but Fiji's really cool. I know you got to work and you're worried about your hours, but you can work from home. They got great Wi-Fi at Fiji, right? So you guys see how this process goes. And then what you would dream of would be that Mom convinces that middle core, and then that middle core goes to Dad and says, hey, Dad, I'm thinking we go on to Fiji, right? And that's how you build consensus. Now, mind you, I'm not dumbing it down, but I'm watering it down to the most minute thing. This gets very complicated, hairy. There's sort of ways to navigate. But I believe if you understand the concept of self-interest and how to engage with that and how to identify that, and you couple that with this idea of building consensus, that you guys all have the tools and the weapons you need to be successful in life and to ultimately make this world a little bit more equal. All right? Is that all right? Yeah. All right, so the last thing I want to do is, before I get going, is I want to read a poem. I know. For real. So I was at a Kaufman Foundation event where they invited the 400 sort of top ecosystem builders to come in. They flew us all in, had a big old fancy conference. And one of the things they had was, do any of you guys know what Chase Public is? Chase Public? Anybody? Oh man, they're game changers. So what happens is they're a bunch of artists and poets. And what they do is they come to conferences or events and stuff, and you literally go spit your fire. And then they come back at you with a poem. Right? So you'll tell them man, I'm feeling this way. This is how I feel the world should be, this and that. And then they will sort of spit a poem out. Well, he caught me at a bad time. I actually didn't want to do the poem. I was kind of frustrated for the same reasons that I've kind of expressed my frustration to you all. And I gave him all this heat, total heat, unfiltered, gave him the poodle. And this is what he came out with. And I think don't be scared. It's a little raw and a little aggressive, but it's art, right? You guys are artists. Here we go. It's titled A Poem for H. Insert yourself into good and evil. Become a part of those polarities. Understand them like the fastest route home or that morning sick feeling after a long night out. Steal the weapons that have been used against you and put them on display, both as art and artifact. Don't dull the blade. Let it stay sharp so you can see the very point. In space, that spirit, our moral code. I didn't zoom this out. Boy, this is fire right here. In space, that spirit, our moral code, into halves or slivers of something that was whole at one point. Something less profound that maybe we lost our humanity for whatever that's worth in American dollars 2017. It is time to make some money. It is time to get elected. And when they come to tell us that this is not our place, when they come to cut our hair, we will refuse them the way that they have refused us for so many years. Mirror the trash treatment. Return a volley of rotten vegetable dissatisfied with their performance. It has been neither. Moving nor funny, just a bad role model for generations of dreamers. We will rate your epic R and boycott the theater until we get a chance to show the world the future we will have portrayed on film. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. Learn their ways. Then remember that this world belongs to all of us. And if the Romans are ruining the world, then ruin Rome. Thank you very much. I appreciate you all listening to me. Have an amazing day. Thank you.